Here's the first pitch.
Except, here's a long one. Way back there. Adios! Pelota!
Okay, gonna do
Now normally I wouldn't approach ya without a formal introduction. Never been the type to move fast, but feeling early eruption. Now tell me, are you down with that? Once you ride with me, ain't no coming back. I need a monkey, come hold me down. A real queen, now come wear this crown. Now we rockin' like, oh, holler out flex. Now we rockin' like, oh, I'll tell you what's next. Now we rockin' like, oh, holler out flex. Now we rockin' like, oh, I'll tell you what's next.
Randy Rodriguez becomes a closer, finishes with 20 saves. I don't know.
My boy Walker is my guy, bro. That's my guy. I love Walker, bro. Ryan Walker is my guy. Hey, listen though. Hey, you already know how I start, man. You already know how I start my podcast. We're already here. Welcome to the Adios Pelota 2025 edition, and we're back. My boy Mario, Happy New Year's. Right, that's first and foremost. Before we start with the baseball talks, I just want to know what's new with you, where you at nowadays, where you come from, and how are you settling in where you're at now?
Oh, I'm settling fine. I moved from Georgia, which is where we were doing where I was at when we were doing the last podcast. I'm now in Charleston, South Carolina, is where I'm at. Finally moved in my place. Got a nice little backdrop here.
Beautiful.
For football and baseball. It ain't bad out here, man. Got snow for the first. I saw snow for the first time in 4 years, so that's interesting, you know. But it ain't bad, man. It ain't bad at all. I like it out here. The people are nice. I've met some really good. I got no complaints about where I'm at. How about
Yeah,
you?
it's been good. If anyone doesn't know, I'm in South Korea now, and if you look at the time difference in his little window right now, it's daytime. I'm just hitting up the morning. It's about to be 7:21 it's 7:21 in the morning right now, so the sun's gonna be coming up soon. So we trying to get this time difference together right now, but this looks like the time right now. You know, my wife's still sleeping, so she probably gonna get mad at me. Anyways, it's good. I love the unit right now. The only thing
You have a
bad,
baby too, right?
yeah, but he ain't a new baby now. He like this big already. Like,
Yeah, but like Samoan babies come out like that though.
yeah, he already looking for a job. Anyways, look, there's a lot to unfold from this Major League Baseball. Very exciting off season, but I want to backtrack since it's been a while since we talked on this podcast, and I want to talk about the results that happened with that ugly World Series win for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Um, we all know we're Giants fans. Shout out to the Dodgers. I hate y'all. Fuck y'all, by the way. But look, I remember us talking in our chat and we were discussing like who was gonna win it, and it was looking like the Dodgers was gonna win it, but the only team that we felt, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I remember us discussing like the only team that really had a puncher's chance to beat this team was the San Diego Padres, and they gave it to them in that one round. I believe they went to the seventh game, right?
For sure they went seven. I'm
But
almost positive.
but
It's
still,
so hard in Ricky Mary.
that was the only team that I saw that really gave them an actual like scare. And even some of the players on the Dodgers after they won it, they said the same thing. So how did you feel about this? How'd you like that World Series? I was as nasty as it sounds. I was cheering for the Yankees, but yeah, that was gross.
So, I mean, as your stereotypical Giants fan, I hate it. Let's be real with each other, you know. Like I hate every bit of that. But I mean, it's kind of what you expected. The Dodgers have been like buying and buying and buying for what 5 6 years now since Magic Johnson came over and kind of took over a little bit. I think he left, and he's doing this thing with the Redskins now. But the guy builds winners, man. Like he helped build winners in LA. He's helped build winners with the Dodgers. He's helping build a winner right now in Washington with the Commanders. Like the guy's kind of got the Midas touch in that regard. Um, so at this point in time, like you figure like they keep buying, they keep buying. That's kind of what they expect. Um, what I didn't expect was how awful the Yankees would be in the World Series.
Right.
Like it was non-existent. Soto was the only player that showed up, really. Um, Judge, who is a perennial Gold Glover in the outfield, couldn't catch a ball to save his life. Couldn't hit. He just looked like a ghost himself. I don't know what that was about, but he's got to work on that. That looked mental, whatever that
Yeah.
was. That's because that's not a physical problem. The guy can play clearly, like, but that I don't know what that was. But also at the same time, you get when it comes to like postseason stuff like that, you see these guys 3, 4, 5 times straight, and you kind of get the tape on the guys, and you study more on what these guys can and can't do, and what they're good at and what they're not good at. So you kind of have that bit of a chess match in that regards too. But it was what was expected in all hindsight. I mean, for me up until last year, I would never pick the Dodgers to win anything because
Right.
me up until last year, they haven't proven they could win it all under a full season. They did it. Now I'm seeing a different story because they keep buying and buying and buying, and now they might be winning the next 5 to 7, which is unrealistic because we haven't had a back-to-back win in a hot minute.
I want to say the Yankees was the last one.
Yeah, but that was like the early 2000s. We
That's
haven't.
how.
I don't think we've had a back-to-back in like 20 years,
That's a
something
long
like
ass
that.
time.
Something like that. So like, I I I get where people get mad that the Los Angeles deferrals. I mean, Dodgers
The first.
uh, keep keep buying and working the system, but like there's still parity in baseball. And the thing about that I love about baseball is anybody can win on any given day. Like there's 162 games in the season. You ain't gonna win all of them. So the Dodgers are gonna lose games. So they're gonna show times that they can be beat. It's
Yeah.
just about consistency, hitting, getting hot, and just hitting when you need to be hitting and pitching well. Really, is how I look at it. So like, yes, the Dodgers are essentially now Yankees West, I guess in a sense.
Right.
But there's a lot of like unlike other sports, the other big name sports, there's a lot of parity in baseball. So I mean, you've seen teams come out of nowhere, and you've seen
Right.
teams with a quarter of what the Dodgers payroll like in Tampa Bay like make the playoffs and be in the World Series, and you've seen the Rockies be in the World
D
Series. You've seen
backs.
stuff like that happen more often than not.
Yeah.
So I mean, anything is possible. It's going to be a tough hill to climb, but you can't anoint the
At all.
Dodgers as you can't anoint them like that. And like as a Giants fan, fuck that. I'm not anointing them shit. So I
So
mean,
I like how you brought up the like you kind of roasted them with the deferral part. I want to talk about that because that's gonna segue into the off season and the free
yep,
agency market and stuff like that. But it's interesting, like people are like so mad at the Dodgers. You can't hate them. They didn't break any rules, right? They did what they did in between the lines, did what they had to do. The deferral part though, they're just basically telling you they're trying to win now and then they'll suffer later. So right now they're gambling on themselves right now to try to win multiple rings. Because right now they're tied with the Giants, even though I don't count that 2021. They're tied at 8 to be fifth place. So top five World
yep,
Series amounts, right? And we're looking at the other teams, the Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, and the A's. We know the A's are nowhere near touching any kind of ring. The Red Sox are
yeah,
still trying to build. The Yankees will be around, and the Cardinals are on a rebuild. So it's looking like the Dodgers sees that opportunity, saying, "Hey, this is where we can climb the mountain of most rings. I know we're not going to touch the Yankees, but at least the 11 that the Cardinals have, we can at least get three out of this run and tie them, or get if not get better than that. So you can't get mad at them. They're trying to win now. Um, and then when we talk about that, how do you feel about the deferral? Because I don't know if any other team is doing this. Like, has anyone in
so
history do this?
not to this magnitude. The deferrals
Bobby
have been around
Bonilla,
but yeah, you got the Bob Bonilla thing. Ken Griffey's been making referrals.
true.
Um, I it, like I know deferrals have been a thing, and MLB has been doing deferrals for a long time, but like I'm pretty sure Bryce Harper also has deferred contracts as well too. But nobody has done it to this magnitude. But that's also dangerous in a sense. It's you're planning for short term game for long term problems, right? Like if we look at the list here of players that are deferred, Devers has 75 million deferred. Chris Sale has 50 million deferred. That's what the Red Sox alone. Otani, Betts, Freeman, Yelich still has money deferred has 28 deferred with the Brewers. Lindor, Diaz have deferred money. Realmuto, Arenado, Corbin, Strasburg. So like the list goes on. Deferrals have been around for a long time, but to have
Not to
1.2
this.
billion with a B dollars in deferrals, that's insane.
That
So
is.
I mean, you're getting all these players now. You're buying now, and you're just pushing the money down the road. Which I'm sure you find ways to restructure stuff like that, and I'm sure they have backdoor deals where that's what it is. But to have a player like Otani making 2 million a year and the rest of it's all backdated, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's crazy.
that's insane. That's insane. But nobody's done it to the level that we're seeing it done, and I think that's what the issue that people have with. And I see the problem. I'm big on the devil's advocate, right? So like I see the Dodgers are doing all these deferrals and doing all this money and doing all this other stuff, and then you got the commissioners coming out, Robert Manfred, saying be careful doing all these deferrals because it can essentially ruin you in the long term. But at the same time, people are getting mad at the Dodgers. Your team ain't spending money. Your team can
Right.
do it too. These are all well within the bounds of doing it, but nobody wants to do it. So like you can see the thing that I like about the Dodgers is you see the commitment to wanting championship. And like
I
if you
hate
got to
it.
make financial bombs down the road to do that, they're willing to do that. And no other team is willing to do that. No other team is willing to spend the money that the Dodgers are willing to spend, minus the Yankees. But the Yankees aren't doing it as much now since George Steinbrenner died.
Right.
So they're spending money, but they're not spending what the Dodgers are spending. And that's like say what you want about the Dodgers. They're trying to win every year,
Yeah.
and you can visibly see the actions that they're trying to win every year. And what I mean, my team's not doing that. Our team's not doing that. You know what I mean? They tried the Giants are trying to sign players while cutting payroll, and they're still trying to cut
Yeah.
payroll. They're trying to stay, I think, around the 200 million mark, which is fine. But like the Mets are weird because they're just spending the money like now and just saying we'll just deal with it now, which is I guess it is what it is. It's all about the the pick your poison in that aspect kind of regard. But they're committed to winning, and you can't fault that because I mean, if you're not committed to winning, then what are you doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Let's talk about. See, I hate talking about the Dodgers, but this is the last little topic about it. But let's talk about the monopoly of the Japanese player happening right now. Um, they
Yeah.
go ahead and signed Roki. We all knew. I don't know. We had this discussion in our group chat that we all knew that he was going to be a Dodger. There was a
Yeah.
slight chance he was going to go to the other two markets, which was the Mets with Senga and then Suzuki over there with the Cubs. Maybe try to get away from that Dodgers. But like it was almost inevitable to know that he was going to be a Dodger with Yamamoto and with Shohei.
Uh,
It was just a given at one point.
I think Roki Sasaki to the Dodgers was the worst kept tampering secret ever. You know what I mean? I
Right.
think Roki Sasaki knew what he was doing, had already like a conversation probably back there, whatever that obviously it was all just blind Giants accusations. But I think he had that deal, and I think he just met with the teams, did his due diligence to make the appearance of, hey, I'm meeting with these teams that I could be interested in. I think if there was a team that would have competed for him, I think it would have been the Dodgers. But
Yeah.
I think Roki Sasaki was as dead a lock to go to the Dodgers. I mean the Padres. My bad. Was the Roki Sasaki was as dead of a lock to go to the Padres or the Dodgers as it was gonna be.
Right.
And like I'm at the point now where Murakami comes out next year. he's probably going to the Dodgers because Max Muncy's contract's up with the Dodgers, and they're going to need a third baseman, third or fourth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even want to hear that. Like, dude, like Murakami is a real big name already, and it's not even like the season hasn't even started, and his name's already being like talked about with the Yankees, with the Dodgers, of course, all the major teams right now, like for next off season. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So all right, we don't have to, fuck the Dodgers. We're gonna move them out the way. Now we're gonna talk about the rest of the landscape. Let's talk about the biggest name in the free agency. Let's talk about Juan Soto, leaving the Dodgers, but I mean the Dodgers, the Yankees, and just moving down the street to the Mets. How do you feel about that? What do you think this 15-year contract is going to do with this team? And you said it's not deferred. This is all straight up like, boom, here you go.
I don't know what's deferred. I can't speak on it from what I've read. It doesn't look like it's deferred. I mean, who knows? It's still a shit ton of money. What is it, 750 million? Some of it's got to be deferred. There's no way you can pay that all
Yeah.
up front.
But
There's
the
no way.
Mets,
I
but the
mean,
Mets, like after the shout out to Naz, he can't make it right now. He's at work, but um, the Mets saw some potential during the playoffs this year, and the owner's like, "Yep, this is it. We're gonna go for it." And sure enough, they go out there and grab Juan Soto. Um, I like the place for him. Anything but the Yankees and Dodgers is my thing. Like as long as you don't sign with those two, I'm okay with. I'm not, shout out to Washington who's out there deployed right now. He's also a Mets fan, but I like it. I like where he's at. I think that's a good market for him. It's still New York.
and,
You know what I mean?
and the way it went down was crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like it. So I don't want to say it wasn't about the money. The contract says otherwise,
Facts.
obviously, right? But there was the rumblings that like he wanted his own suite for like his family to come
Family.
and
Yeah.
watch the games. And the Yankees were such on a stance of if we're not doing it for somebody like Aaron Judge, we're not going to do it for somebody like you, which is we're not going to do it for you, which is crazy for like a player of that caliber at the age that he is.
Right.
He's like
Younger.
26, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
26.
25, something like that. And to not do something as minor as that because they haven't done it because there was no, I guess if you want to use the lawyer concept, there's no precedent prior to them doing it for other players. So like they didn't do it for Jeter, they didn't do it for A-Rod, didn't do it for players like that. So like, I get it. The Yankees, I feel like, are so archaic in some of the things that they go by that I think that it's starting to like come back on them. Like Devin Williams, who's a perennial all-star closer, seemed visibly upset that he was going to the Yankees because it meant he had to.
Shave his
You know what I
beard.
mean? They signed a player. I think it was Phil Bickford. He used to play for the Giants and the Dodgers. They signed him. He shaved his long hair that he's had his whole life. Signed with the Yankees and got cut 2 days later.
That's fucking shady.
Like that's brutal. That's brutal. And like I get it. People, you get your I'm always at war with baseball purists. You get the Yankees purists, and they're all like, it's a professional look. If you don't like it, don't play here. Well, people aren't playing there. People
Right.
don't want to come there. You know what I mean? So I think there needs to be a fundamental shift in what their principles are because players aren't coming to the Yankees like they used to in the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean, they were taking players like A-Rod, they were taking players like Giambi, like Shira. They pulled Randy Johnson now, and he was still at the time. You know what I mean? They're not bringing those players in anymore because people don't like the way they seem to do business or run their operations.
Right.
And it's not even like baseball stuff. It's all the extracurricular things that they're not into. And like, can you blame them? We live in a day now where it's 2024, and you have more expression in what you wear, how you look, your facial hair and stuff like that than you used to in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s. Everybody was always pretty clean cut. You know what I mean? Maybe a mustache, stuff like that. So like, people can have more of that expression and people don't like that feeling of being taken away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. So we're talking about the Mets, and we're talking about Juan Soto there. Damn, I just hit my head on this damn mic. But the thing I want to talk about now about the Mets, speaking of the Mets, and it'll segue to our Giants, is Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso's still not signed. What are you reading right now that the Mets are close to signing them, or do you see him going the other way and looking at the market, finding his niche there? Because what I've read is just like our Giants always do, the 1+1 deals where the player has the option to opt out is looking like he's going to look for one of those to bet on himself for next season's off season to get paid. But because after they spent all that money with Juan Soto, we're now looking at Pete Alonso and saying, all right, so what we doing with him now?
So that man has one of the biggest bag fumbles of all time. First and foremost, he fumbled like it was like a 50 or 5 year, like $160 million deal, and he was like, "I'm good. I'm gonna go test free agency."
Yeah,
Drop the ball on that. But the word with that is now him and also Alex Bregman as well. I think they've kind of gotten together with Scott Boras, and now he's trying to like revive that deal. Right now, the word he's trying to work a 3 year deal for Alonso to come back to the Mets, and I think he's trying to work a deal for Bregman to go back to Houston, which is crazy. I feel like Bregman, first and foremost, I feel like has still got a lot in the tank. I think he's still at 270, about 20 home runs, 80 RBIs a year, which is valuable in this day and age. The thing about Alonso is I think he's a vintage player. And what I mean by that is he's a Jason Giambi, he's a Frank Thomas,
yeah,
he's one of those guys. Doesn't give you a lot of contact, doesn't field a lot, but he's gonna ring those balls over the fence. And
yeah,
I think the value of the home run, like, it's still there. Obviously, like chick stick long ball, I get that, but like I think the value of the home run is dwindling. Everybody's focused on launch angle, and if you're not getting on base, you're not helping guy behind you. You know what I mean? So if
right,
you're just hitting a bunch of single home runs, it's not doing anybody any good. If you're hitting single home runs in a 5-0 game, that doesn't do shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I think the day of players like Alonso, or kind of like the Alonsos, the David Ortizes and stuff like that. I think those days are I mean, even now, if David Ortiz was prime, I'm sure somebody would make a fucking place for that. But I think like players like that, I think are because he's not valuable on the base path. He's not a guy who gets on base a lot. He's got a lot of swing and miss in his game. He's marginal at best as a first baseman. He's not going to win any Gold Gloves or ever be in the running for anything like that. So
yeah.
like the only thing he really brings to the table on the field is hitting home runs. And if you're not hitting home runs, how valuable are you when you don't bring other things to the table? You know what I
Right.
mean? So, like you got like when you look at a player, one of my favorite players, as much as I hate to say this, Mookie Betts. Yeah, the guy can hit 20, 30 home runs a year, but he's a perennial platinum glove player. He's valuable on the base paths.
5 tool.
He's a 5 tool guy. So even if he's not bringing one of the tools to the park that day, if one of the tools got left at home, he still has 4 other tools that bring you value
To the field.
to the game. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So when you only got one tool, there's only so much value you got. That's how I look at it. So I think a 3 year deal is a prove it deal, but I think is what that's going to be. I'm sure there'll be some player team option type verbiage in it, but I think this might be like his last like money contract. To be completely honest with
You think you think he brings value to the Giants if he was to come over to do a 1+1? Just hear me out when I say this too, because you took a big uh, just just a 1+1 veteran thing to help mentor or make the professionalism look good for Bryce to come up.
you. What's he going to teach him? He hasn't won anything. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to help. He's not going to help Bryce defensively. Bryce hits better than him. Like
So
minor
yes,
leagues hit.
so I
You know
think
what I mean?
I'm thinking a lot more of the entirety of a professional, like just not more so just on the field or in the dugout. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Lamont Wade's not gonna do that for Bryce, like in my
You don't know
opinion.
that though.
Yeah,
You don't know that.
but you could also
But like,
say you don't know
but
that
like
about Bryce. Also,
I'm not. I'm
whatever his
not.
name is, I can't even think his name is.
I'm not trying to pay $20 million a year for a mentor. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
So
But
like,
you
I'm
wouldn't
not.
bring that bat in?
Not really. So like the thing is, the Giants are in a different place right than to bring in. I think Bryce or not Bryce Harper. I think Alonso is a guy you bring in when like you're gonna make a run and you just need another big bat. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
that's true.
And like the Giants, if I were to think of one word for what the Giants season is gonna be this year, development. That's gonna be what success looks like for the Giants. That's how I look at that.
All right, so
And if
so
you bring in Alonso, you can't develop other players because Alonso's taking time and taking at bats and taking fielding opportunities from those players. You know what I mean?
yeah, I see that. And since we're talking about the Giants, that's what we're gonna go with because majority of our talk is gonna be talking about the Giants and the state of the franchise. But we're gonna talk about other players too that were connected in free agency for the San Francisco Giants. One of them being in which that we wish came, which was Corbin Burns going to the Diamondbacks. How did you feel about that
Um,
6 year contract going to and like put your feet in his cleats real quick and just sit there and say, I have the San
yeah,
Francisco Giants or the Arizona Diamondbacks, and you're looking at this in his hindsight. How like what made you feel like okay, the Diamondbacks is better than the Giants as
if
far
I'm,
as this?
that's easy. That's an easy answer. If I'm Corbin Burns and I'm looking at the Diamondbacks, who have just been in a World Series a couple of years ago, and the Giants, who have been middling in the road for the past 4 years, I look at the Dodger or the Diamondbacks and I see this team is way closer to their playoff contender every year now. Right now, plays that aspect, and I see a team that's closer to being ready than the Giants are. The Diamondbacks aren't trying to develop; they're trying to make a run.
Yeah,
The Giants are a team they are trying to I've always talked about what is it, a competitive rebuild. The Giants keep trying to do that, but like I don't know if the past few years they've been doing it the right way. And at some point you got to let the kids play. And if you bring in these players, you take it. I mean, granted, I'd take Corbin Burns any other week. He's my favorite pitcher in the league. You know that.
yeah.
But I never shut up about Corbin Burns. But if I'm Corbin Burns, that's what I see. I see a team that's closer to competing. I see a team that's more equipped and ready to win now than the Giants. And I would take that. I would take that deal. I would pick the Dodgers over.
All
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, that's I
I
see it. I see that.
I wouldn't have left Baltimore because I also think Baltimore's closer than the Diamondbacks are, and I think Baltimore has it's crazy what Baltimore is doing that nobody really is talking about. Is like they're ready, they can win now. They're now, and they still have like a bunch of top 25, top 50 prospects that they again have the top catching prospect in Sal Basalo in the minor leagues.
Right.
Where's he gonna go? You know what I mean? Like, where's he gonna play at? You get players like that. Like, where are these guys gonna go? Like, they have like all these players in the minors that like are like could probably break camp on start on any other team's roster and compete and contribute. But like now, all these guys are like they're just gonna be trade pieces because I think Baltimore's the best place to compete right now in the AL East,
That's
probably in the
true.
AL period. Honestly,
So also in this offseason, we hired Buster Posey. Shout out to the three-time World Series champion to, you know, to succeed Farhan and what he's done, Zahid or whatever you say it.
or
Um,
done.
so I've looked into his, people keep saying like, hey, we didn't do a lot this offseason. I get it. We got Willie Adames, very good pickup. Very happy that we picked him up. Who else did we pick up? We picked up one more person. I forgot who it was.
For what? What are you?
Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
So So I'm looking at what Buster's doing, right? And then he goes, I believe it was 19 international prospects that he also signed as well. One of them in which is a shortstop. I forgot his name. I have to look it up. He's like a 17, 18-year-old prospect that's we
Yeah,
were we were discussing.
Marlins, he's like the most complete like shortstop prospect out there. But I mean, like let me take a look at his name.
While you do that,
I saw
yeah. So for me, right, what I see what Buster's doing is what Farhan didn't do, and that's he's trying to get this farm system back and running.
Oswar de Jesus Gonzalez.
Yeah,
That's what his name
we're
is.
gonna have to we have to give him a nickname, bro. That's too many names.
So, I mean, yeah, yeah, no, for
That's,
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
not
for
gonna say
sure.
that
But
fucking every single time with 12
I
syllables.
mean,
Like fuck.
he's 17 in Dominican years, which is like dog years. But
27, 28 right now.
yeah, but like a signing like that is good. It's great for 5 years from now.
But
Does he
that's
do anything
but that's
new?
what I'm saying. I'm saying like from the mindset of what I think Buster's taking is okay, we gotta take this. We're gonna just grow from the farm real quick because right now it's not our time. We're not gonna fight the Dodgers, Padres, and the Diamondbacks in our division. I was like, let's take the L's for a little bit right now. If we can stay 500 this season, that's kind of a win. But develop, like you said, and make sure that our farm system keeps getting fed because the Giants aren't, and you know this from past. Shout out to Arson Judge. We're just not the free agent market for these big names for the most part. So a lot of the times our three World Series came off the backs of our farm system. So I see Buster seeing that like, hey, I was a part of that. I understood that's what we were supposed to do. So I believe that's what his intentions are. Is yeah, we got a big name in the Diamonds, we got a veteran in Verlander, but for the most part, he's really like invested in those minor leagues to try to get the farm system rolling again.
Like when I like this year, the big thing is like you gotta let the kids play.
Yeah.
You gotta let them play. You're gonna stunt their growth, and they're not gonna develop. And like I'm like you can do that without having to throw these guys into the fire like they did with my boy or my not my boy your boy, what was his name, the catcher from Georgia Tech. Oh man,
Bart,
what
you
was his
talking about
name?
Bart?
Yeah, like they did it. That was such an unfortunate situation because they put him in. They had no choice. Buster Posey sat out that year for COVID,
Yeah,
and they were like, "Sorry, man. Like
he's
this is
at
what we got."
he found his niche though this year. Like it was funny because
Yeah, he did that in Pittsburgh,
in Pittsburgh, I was we didn't have a
and he flushed the
podcast to
Giants
talk
series.
about it. Yeah, we didn't have a
Yeah, he
podcast to
flushed.
discuss it. So yeah,
But like you got players. I think Eldridge breaks camp with the Giants. If not, I think he's there pretty early. I think the Giants are ready to move off of doing the platooning the base thing with with Lamont Wade. And I think Lamont Wade provides you a lot of value, against righties. But I think that's all the value he brings. I'm not out on I'm not, but like I'm also not. This guy is gonna be a star. Like this is who he is. He kills righties, and that's who he is, and that's fine. There's a place for that. It's
yeah,
platooning when we need you. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's situational. I think Carson Wisdom breaks because they got some starting pitching problems there. But like if I go down the list on these prospects, they got some solid names on there. I think Reggie Crawford's. I think your cousin over here, Maui Ahuna, is gonna be too. I think that dude's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a pretty good shortstop. You know, and you go down the list. Wade Meckler, I'm very high on Wade Meckler.
I
I
like
was
him.
I
I already
was
see. He seemed to
putting
be
that
hell.
dude on a pedestal last year.
He
I'll tell you
seemed to be
that.
older than what he is. Oh,
Yeah, I was putting a pedestal on him. But like you got some good names here that are ready to start getting that time in and start going to the next level and doing the next thing and seeing what they got. Um, the one that falls off for me is man, I forgot his name because he was like the top 50 prospect last year. The what's his name? Luciano. That's who.
Marco.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna be that guy anyway. But like, there's gotta be a place for him somewhere. I don't think you get that good, make it to AAA, get that hot, and just fall off the face of the earth like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But his issue is he can hit, but he can't field to save his life. So I would rather have Luciano hitting a DH for a way cheaper price than a Pete Alonso.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He doesn't bring you any liability on defense. Maybe make the move to the outfield someday, and or as a platooning outfield and DHing.
I've also heard really good things in that Dominican league with Luis Matos and how he's been playing
Yes.
this year. So I'm looking forward to see how he's looking this season.
But be wary about that because the league that he was hitting in, yeah, he won the MVP of that league, which is fantastic. But like that's not a very pitching dominant league. That league's built for hitters. All right, that league is built for hitters, and it's going to inflate a lot of people's stats. So don't read too much in the stats. But he granted, you get that experience. You know what I mean? There are big leaguers that play that league every year. The leagues, Venezuelan, Mexican league, what have you. But like the pitching is not top tier. So like,
Right.
Temper your expectations. Don't think this guy's gonna go off and be a 30 home run guy with here. I think he has the potential to be like a 20-90 guy, maybe have like 10-15 stolen bases here and there. And I think that's his ceiling, which is a really good ceiling. It's not a bad ceiling. I'll take that ceiling. But I don't think he's gonna be that guy. And also when you look at the outfield is pretty packed right now in the outfield.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot.
Like when you look at it, it's like who's your day one starters? The way I look at it, who's your day one starters? How would
All right, you gotta go left field with your all star. And I want to see if his all star year was a fluke or not. So you're going with Elliott. Of course, I want this guy. Shout out to my Korean people out here. I want Lee to start, but we don't know. I don't know where he is because I haven't been looking up his injury.
He'll be good. He'll be good by.
I I am so over Yaz Stremski that like I'm going Lee. And then of course at right field, who would I put at right? It's looking like Encarnacion. I like him.
I wouldn't. So Encarnacion, to me, is as DH as DH gets.
He's a real hitter.
He's a Miguel Sano, Nelson type guy, but also he's like we have DHs, which is why I don't see a place for Pete Alonso.
Yeah, so I guess it has to be Yaz, but I really don't want to put him there. It will be him or Luis Matos. I would put Luis Matos over him, or you could say Meckler too, but Meckler plays more center field, wouldn't he?
I mean, if you can, the thing about it is if you can play one position in the outfield.
All right, so my outfield.
As long as you're fast enough, like if you can play left field, I can throw you at right field and you'll be fine.
All day, yeah.
If you play left right field, you can play center field as long as you have the range for it. You know
So I'm going left field Ramos, center field Lee. I'm going Luis Matos right field.
You're not gonna like what the starting lineup gonna be then.
No, just do the outfields for now, and then we'll go into the infield.
No, I'm talking about the outfield in general. You're not gonna like it because Mike Trustemski's gonna be your right fielder.
Yeah, I don't fucking like him. No. Let me retract. I like him, but I'm tired of him. Like he's so in and out. Like
if there was gonna be a time to get rid of him, it was gonna be last year.
Yeah.
Posey loves Yastrzemski. They play together. That's his boy. He's not gonna get rid of him like that. And I think Yastrzemski brings value. And he's not a bad defensive guy. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but the guy, he'll get hot. Like he gets hot occasionally. Like we've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, so he brings that value, and he's gonna be that guy for a while until somebody either they make a trade or somebody shows up and says I'm ready to go. He's not gonna be ready this year, but in a couple of years, I can see James Tibbs and Dakota Jordan trying to take that spot.
Tibbs is a big guy. Tibbs, what's his name? Tibbs the third,
Yeah,
bro.
Tibbs the
I
JT
like
3,
him.
bro. We got the name right there.
That's oh
JT
shit. I
3.
didn't even think about that. JT3.
You know what I mean?
So who's your starting three in the outfield?
It's good. From left to right, I'm
Yeah,
going.
that's right.
Oh, I lied. I'm stupid. I lied. I put Matos in right.
Yeah, that's what I
That's what
put.
I would.
I put
Yeah.
Matos
Okay.
at
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. But that's who I would put. But I think. But
Yaz
I
is
don't
gonna
think you want to
start.
have. The thing is like you don't want to have two kids out there like that. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I think the days that Matos starts, you'll have Ramos as your DH, and the days that Ramos starts, you have Matos as your DH. So that way they still get those at bats. And I don't think you want two kids out there like that in outfield. I think you let them watch, let them learn. Like Jung Hoo Lee and Yastrzemski, they've been professionals for a while now. You know what I mean? Watch professionals do how professionals do, and learn that way, and still get your at bats in.
So that's gonna be so you got Ramos, Yaz, and Matos.
Ramos, it'll be from left to right for me. That who I would start. Yeah, that's who I would start. Will start. It'll probably Ramos, Lee, Yastrzemski, and I think
Okay.
Yastrzemski might split that time somewhere. I think having four outfielders like that is a good thing. So
All right, we're gonna go infield and we're gonna go position by position. Who you think's gonna start? It's a given, bro. Patrick Bailey is, Gold Glover is
yeah,
gonna play catcher. He's gonna be the catcher.
I'm gonna tell you this about Patrick Bailey. If he makes the leap, and this is like me stressing myself out because like I really like Patrick Bailey a lot. I should have got a Patrick Bailey jersey
Well,
from
not
you,
surprising.
but yeah, but the thing about Patrick Bailey is if he can become a 275 hitter with like 25 home runs and like 85 at bats, that shoots him to probably a top three catcher.
Yeah, he'll be up there with,
Defensively,
with Adley.
defensively, I think he's the best catcher in the league. Defensively, he's for sure the best framer in the league. That like by far.
Every time.
But
Strike.
I like him a lot. But what's so underrated that nobody is that the Giants signed Sam Huff. And Sam Huff is he was with the Rangers last, and that man, like I wouldn't play him every day at catcher. The dude can hit. The guy can hit. He's a big power hitter. He's a guy can hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about him, so I couldn't even really speak about it.
He
So
was
so
with the Rangers the past 2 years or something. He came up with the Rangers for sure. So
all right. So now we're gonna go to first base. Of course, we're gonna later down, maybe September, maybe earlier. We know Bryce Eldridge will be coming up. If his momentum keeps
I
taking
can
him
very well
there.
see Elgin breaking camp with the Giants.
Oof.
If he gets called up, if he breaks camp with the Giants,
Do you
and
do you want to do that though?
nothing wrong with it now. Before it used to be the time and service was like a huge thing with baseball, and people would purposely not call players up to gain that extra year of arbitration eligibility, but they changed that. So now it doesn't really matter in that regard. So like you don't lose anything by playing him or anything like that. But if you call him up and he's as advertised, if he has a hot spring training and he's as advertised, Lamont Wade and Will Flores are out of jobs and trade bait. They're gone.
Out of here.
They're
I've
gone.
been wanting
Eventually.
them out of here. You can shout out to my boy Santi. I was talking about like Wilmer Flores and freaking Lamont. Like I wanted them and Yaz, I wanted them gone. But hey, they're here, so I'm not gonna keep complaining. So
Replace them with trying to cut payroll like that. You
I
know?
think I think we're gonna agree. So we have Patrick Bailey. So first baseman, of course, is gonna be Wilmer or Lamont, depending on who's pitching that day for the opposing team.
Yeah.
As second, because of the Willie Adames trade, of course, it's gonna end up being Tyler Fitz. Um, tell
I'm
me
so
about your.
high on.
Me too. I liked it. I liked the season last
I'm
year.
so high. I'm like, I feel so delusional when I say I'm so high on Tyler Fitzgerald because like I'm the only guy that sees that.
No,
People
I'm here with you.
last year, but I'm talking about like Gen Pop, the majority.
Oh,
I think like when people talk about Tyler Fitzgerald, they're like, what he did last year, he's he's not good, and I'm like, I don't see that. The
Yeah.
guy can hit, guy's quick, he can play any position on the field. Like, he's not that bad defensively. Like, I don't see. I think like I don't. He had that hitting streak last year. Like, I don't like. I feel like you and I are such the majority of Tyler Fitzgerald. I see Tyler Fitzgerald could be a perennial all-star. You know what I mean? Like, I could foresee that. But like, obviously he's got to put it together. But it's like I feel like I'm not. I don't think I'm a delusional sports fan or delusional baseball fan or anything like that. But like, I feel like people make me feel so delusional when I talk about Tyler Fitzgerald and like you fucking. I don't think I am. Like, I was like, I don't think I am. You know, I don't know. I just feel such in the minority. So bad. I think he's gonna have a great year this year.
So before we move on to short and third, because we already know who's starting there, let's talk about Tyler Fitz and that second baseman. And talking about the All Stars, who else in the NL are second base All Stars that you think like, okay, we can look at these and say, he's far fetched from that, or he's right there. 'Cause to me, you're looking at the Dodgers second baseman ain't gonna make it.
Who, Gavin Lux?
Yeah, he's not making it. Um, Wait, where's Ha-Seong Kim gonna go?
We didn't sign Ha-Seong Kim.
No, I'm saying like who signed him? Nobody, right? I was thinking about him going back to the Padres.
Somebody
But
did.
I'm looking at the landscape of the National League. All right, you got who's Phillies second baseman?
Bryson Stott?
He's not
I'll
there.
take Bryson Stott. I'll take Bryson Stott. I like Bryson Stott.
I know I like him too, but I'm talking about All Star. Like I don't know. I don't think he's All Star right now. But I'm just so basically I'm trying to see the list of the top second basemen that are in the National League this season, and then compare them to Fitzgerald and see how far off he is to becoming one of them.
We'll start from the top here. All right. Players I would for sure take over him. Okay. Cattell Marte.
Yeah. Shout out my switch hitters.
Okay. Marcus Simeon.
Yeah, but how old is he? He's like 34 now.
Yeah, I'll take Marcus Simeon right now.
Shout out to Reardon.
I'm talking about as of end of the season last year. Who would I take? I would take Marcus Simeon for sure.
Yeah.
Jose Altuve. I'm taking Jose Altuve. Okay.
Talk to Astros.
Bryce, for sure, I'm taking Bryce Terang. Like, these are like top 5, top 10 guys. Bryce Terang in Milwaukee.
Oh.
The dude's gonna be a stud. All right, dude's gonna be a stud. Andres Jimenez. I would take him over Tyler Fitzgerald. So
That's a push, though. That's a push, though. Like I can see a debate.
I'd take Nico Horner over him.
I love Nico. Nico's my guy.
I don't think Luis Garcia. I don't know much about him, but like at this point in time, maybe around 7 is where we start trying to see if Fitzgerald is in that spot off of last year.
And that's not bad.
No, Jonathan
India. Yeah.
Jose Iglesias. I do like Jose Iglesias. I would probably take Jose Iglesias over him for sure. Brandon Lau, I would take. Let's see. Gleyber Torres, I would take. Bryce Stott, I would take.
Ian Happ?
I would not. Ian Happ's an outfielder mostly. He's like a utility guy.
I like that. I love him, bro. That's my
I
guy.
would take Colt in Detroit too. I think Colt Keith is that guy. Ozzy Albies, I would take. Xander Bogaerts, I would take.
I was just talking National League for All Stars purposes.
National League. Sorry. Okay, I'm talking like in the league. Period.
Yeah, I was just talking National League. So because I want to see how, as far as him getting votes to be that one.
Right. Nico Horner, that's 3. Maybe Luis Garcia, but that's like a debate. Jonathan India would. Jose Iglesias, I would. So that's 5. Bryson Stott, I would. That's 6. That's unfortunate because I really like Otto Lopez. Done fantastic.
See,
as a second baseman.
We haven't
That was
even.
fantastic.
So Fitzgerald's in the top 10 National League second basemen. I could take that.
Yeah, Yeah, but there's only 15 teams in the National League.
He's
That's
not
like saying,
15.
hey, I was like saying, hey, I was third place in the race, and there was 5 of us. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah, but
I
see,
think
I like,
top 15, top
but a
18.
lot of the names after the third one, like Jose Iglesias, I can see like Fitz being better than him this year. Like I can visually see that. I can see him being better. I can see him fighting with Stott to be in that part where you ranked him. Like
Yeah.
after the first three you said, I'm like, okay, I can put a debate for Fitzgerald, but that's good. I like that. So we already know if we look into this, we already know who our shortstop is. Our biggest free agent, Willie Adames. I like him. How do you like the third and shortstop for us right now? I like it. Veterans, really good bats, very good fielders. Like I like that.
You gotta be so sick of me when I sign when you ask me. But like I like Matt Chapman. But Matt Chapman is a get hot in June guy and a wow the year guy.
True.
Brings great defense. And I think he's a good player. I'm good with him being a third. The Giants haven't had a good third baseman in an eternity, so I'm good with that. Um, Willie Adames is interesting to me, and I told you he was interesting to me beforehand. I think at the plate as a hitter, I think there aren't very many better shortstops than him. I think at the plate as a hitter, he's a top 5 hitter as a shortstop. Defensively, I think he might be in like the bottom half defensively. He's not a defensive guy, but I mean, you got that cat with the long name that I'm not going to pronounce. So in 5 years, he'll be 20. He'll be damn near close to called up or called up. So at that point, you can shove him over somewhere. Maybe the Tyler Fitzgerald experiment is what everybody said it was, and I was wrong, and he's out by that point in time.
He
And
played
you
well
shove,
outfield.
yeah, I mean, but that's not like his like primary spot, so you don't want him doing that every day, unless like he's getting work in every day doing that. That's
Well,
different.
yeah, but if we call up Ligma del Fantasma, then yeah, shit.
Oh yeah, Ligmandel Phantasma, but like I think Adamas is going to give you what he's been giving you for the past few. But I think he's 30. You know what I mean? Granted, I'm 32. I'm on the downhill of my life physically, but he's 30. He's 30 at a premium position that needs youth and. So I've told you this. I look at shortstops the same way I view running backs in the NFL. I don't like paying them late.
Yeah,
Never have.
that's a good
Not my
point.
thing. I don't like paying them late because there's nothing worse than having a 35, 36-year-old shortstop who doesn't have the legs he used, trying to go laterally every. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I've never been big on. I think shortstop is the one position like it needs to be like a youth guy. Somebody would be someone who has their legs under that. But I mean, there are people who have defied that. Crawford, people like that. But like Xander Bogaerts was who he was at shortstop, so they second cut it there, and he never could in Boston anyway. But I just don't like paying players over the age of 30 at shortstop. It's just never been my thing. I just you need that's the one position you need premium athleticism.
So
And
you think they bump him to second?
what's that?
You think they bump him to second?
Eventually, not now, not this year. Shortstop's his for the foreseeable future for like the
Yeah.
at least until he's 33, 34. Once he starts hitting 34, then I'm starting to think shift him over second, finding a replacement in that regard. As long as he's still hitting, I'll play him wherever he's at. He could be the most god awful defensive player on earth. If you're hitting 280 for 35 home runs, whatever, I'll take it. I will take the good with the bad. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. So in closing, right before I get out of here, there's two things I want to talk about. Let's look at our division top to bottom. Let's rank them, okay? And we know this, but I want to see what you work like preseason before we get into uh, the season. Where do you see from our division 1 through 5?
I mean, one's a lock.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. I think the Dodgers are going to be in the World Series, competing for a World Series, dancing around the World Series, celebrating the World Series for the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think there's going to be a World Series or NL, CS conversation happen that doesn't have the name Los Angeles Dodgers. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like the sound of that.
so I just got to be real with you, all right?
Yeah, it's true.
And Padres are two. I think the NL West is cut as clear as the standings were last year, where you got Dodgers 1, Padres, Diamondbacks 3, Giants 4, Rockies 4. I think that's gonna be a repeat of this year. Fortunately, I think it's gonna be something like that. I think Diamondbacks and Padres will. You can 1A 1B them, 2A 2B them if you want. I think the Diamondbacks have made some solid moves. And they have some really good players on that roster, and they got some good youth coming up in their outfield. So I just
So, um, on the high end of your high expectations of the Giants, what is considered a successful season for you? Because for me, it's just being they've always hovered around 500, right? I
I know it. Minus
it's
that one fluky when they won a shit ton of games.
Yeah, so for me, and then I'll let you finish it off, but for me, it's gonna be the same thing, but I see it more of it being more of a winning record of the 500 area, more than what it was like two under, I think it was last year. But that's it's still gonna be the same, but but a winning season, like you said earlier, is the experience for the kids, and then just hovering around 500, hopefully getting a winning record.
Yeah. So to tap on that a little, I don't really look at success for the Giants this year in record. I that's just this like let's be real with it. I don't. I think best case scenario, they're fighting for a wild card spot for probably a first round bounce out. To be honest with you, but I mean anything happens in the playoffs, and I get that. Best case for me, best case scenario, you let the kids hit. They all get better. You bring up you bring up your Bryce Eldridges and players like that. You let them get that experience. Let them play that. They do well, and you win 86 games. And I think that's a successful season as a Giants.
And I'm tripping. I'm sorry. Like I got ahead of myself. We talked about the fielders, but I forgot to get back into the pen. Let's talk about
Oh
this.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's talk starting pitchers and our bullpen. I'll tell you, I am I love where we're at. Of course, we have even though I don't think Logan Webb is an ace, right? I think he's gonna have to
Oh, I
be.
think I think he's ace. I just don't think he's. I don't think he's like what. He's not your. He's not your stereotypical high strikeout. I don't look at I don't look at him like that. When I think of him, he is so second coming of Matt Cain to me. It's insane
He damn
how
near looks like
similar
him.
like how similar it is because they pitched the same. Matt Cain was never a was always a 3 ERA guy. Never like leading the league in strikeouts. He was never he was pitching for contact. He was eating innings and he was getting 16, 17 wins a year. And that's still an ace to me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That's still ace worthy to me.
in
He's
a
not
pitching
your
park.
he's not yeah, like that's still high end stuff. You know what I mean? He's just not flashy doing it. He's pitching for contact, pitching for ground balls, eating up innings, and like he's gonna be a 15 to 17 game winner. And that's fine. 15 and 6, 15 and 7, 17 and 5 or whatever. That's not bad. That's great. That's good stuff. But like I don't look at him as your your Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, prime Tristan Verlander type guy. I don't look at him. Striking a
So
lot of dudes out.
So besides Logan Webb, I'm high on the two young kids. Of course, me and you are real high on Kyle Harrison. And then, how do you feel? I've never talked to you about this kid, but with Hayden Birdsong, like I like him. I like him as like a third, fourth rotation guy, somewhere down there. Uh, you also have, of course, Verlander coming in with Tristan Beck. When you look at that, like, do you think Robbie Ray goes to? I know for a fact Jordan Hicks goes to the pen. Does Robbie Ray go to the pen?
I don't think Robbie Ray goes to the pen. I think he comes. I think he bounces back. He had those injuries that he was out missed the last 2 seasons. I think he has a solid bounce back season. For me, Robbie Ray, if he gets 13, 14 wins, I think of that as success. You know what I mean? He's not a Cy Young winner anymore. It's not that guy, and that's fine. I, I'm not like I'm. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of Hayden Birdsong, but I look at him as like a back end rotation guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think Hicks goes back to the pen. Not in San Francisco.
So who's your rotation? Your five rotation?
Me, Webb, Ray, Verlander, Harrison, and probably Hicks for now. And then you sprinkle in Birdsong, Beck, Group, and Win every so often. You know, people are gonna need rest and injuries happen and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
sprinkle those guys every so often. You know, I think you can also sprinkle Birdsong and Win kind of and Roop as well, kind of in as like a long reliever.
Long reliever. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
That, but I'm not a big fan of Birdsong. I think average.
I'm not saying like he's going to be the next man up. I like where he's at though. I like him being the back end of a 4 day or a fifth day pitcher. Like I like
Yeah,
that. And you're still going to need that someone that can be reliable for your ace to come in, the next day. But the
yeah.
part that the Giants always had problems with, and Camilo Doval showed us last year, is they're not consistent. Ron Walker's my guy, but it's like you look at this bullpen. Delhi,
It's so this pen is so good when I look at it. When I see
yeah,
the name pen, I'm like Ryan Walker's great. I think Randy Rodriguez is gonna be fantastic. The
yeah, I like
Rogers
him.
brothers aren't that bad. I think you can let Tyler go. No, which one? Yeah, no
The
Taylor.
the
I think you
the
can
s-
let Taylor go.
Taylor's
The
the
left.
submarine, right?
No,
No,
Tyler's.
Tyler's.
I think you can let Taylor go, but like up and down, like Randy Rodriguez is a very good. Bivens is a really good reliever. Walker's good. Tyler's good. Eric Miller's pretty solid. Duvall just as long as he can do what he did the year before last, he'll like that's a top
Good
10 bullpen.
setup. Good setup.
Top 10 bullpen to beat. You know what I mean? But it's like it's the big thing with that is consistency. That's the name of the game for bullpen stuff. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta find that consistency. You can't find that consistency, you're gonna get blown up.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how I see it too with the starting five. Um, what is with the Giants, bro? Like they love these tall pitchers, like Carson Ragsdale at 6'8". Who did they draft this year? They were also hovering around 6'8" to 6'10". I forgot his name too, but it was just like they
Oh
were trying to
man,
compare because Jelly right now he's considered the tallest player in the league right now at 6'11". I like him on the show. I'll tell you that much. MLB the show, I'll be pitching with him. I love pitching with him, man. Well, speaking of the show, how you
like
feel about that?
well, the thing is like the ball come out different from taller players like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just I don't know, man. I he's all right. He's not like your he's not gonna light up people or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't know.
So
We picked Tibbs this year. Or was that this year or was that last year? Tibbs?
Tibbs was 2 years, no, 2 years ago.
Let me see.
There was a pitcher we picked up. I want to. I don't think it was Ragsdale because Ragsdale. I don't. I think he's already
No, it
had it.
wasn't right.
He's 6'8". That's another tall ass fucking pitcher.
No, it was Tibbs this year. That was their first pick this year was Tibbs.
So who else was a draft pick? There was some. I saw a video about this. Like how
Tibbs
we'll talk.
Dakota Jordan went. I remember that. Are you telling
What's
me you said a pitcher?
yeah.
Oh, Greg Farrone, 6'6", 240 guy. Is that
No,
you talking about?
no, there was a guy tall, like he was hovering around. I'll look it up and I'll bring it up offline and we'll talk about it in our group chat. Hey, but how do you feel about before I go? Because my son is waking up and it's breakfast time, as you can see my window. Hey, say hello to Korea. But
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock here.
so how do you feel about MLB The Show this year? I love the fact that Diamond Dynasty is getting away from seasonal cards. I know that for a fact it's happening. But how do you feel
I
about that?
stopped playing.
And do
I
we?
stopped playing dog.
Yeah, me too. But like,
What's that?
I think I come back because remember the year I really played with y'all for the first time was the year that Shohei was on the cover, and it was the year
Yeah.
that I discovered Diamond Dynasty, and it was fun because you get to use any card. And then the next 2 years came through. It was the seasonal cards. I gave up. It was just too much grinding. I'm a father.
Dude,
You're a father. You know what I mean? It's like just we have jobs. It's like there's no
yeah.
way I can compete like that, man.
I just like that's what I was doing on my off time. So like, and the thing is, I felt so. That's my favorite ultimate team, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
mode for any sport.
the best
Best
one.
because you don't have to spend money to compete, but the issue is like you got to spend time, and that's a lot of time you got to spend. So for me, like like I work a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The update comes out Friday. And double XP is Friday, Saturday. I don't get to play that much, and then I feel like I get behind, and then
Yeah.
that's where it starts like feeling like a job. But like the content was okay this year. I think they really ramped it. They do the people that play the game and making the adjustments based off of that. The gameplay for me this year, for me was the best it's been gameplay wise.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like I think when I say gameplay, I mean like actually playing the game. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
franchise or anything like that. I think the gameplay was good. The way just
The
playing the game,
presentation. Yeah.
it was fluid. It was great. You had no issues, stuff like that. Granted, you still got King by way of content for franchise content. Road to the Show's been the same mode it's been for years now. You got to do something. Um, but like gameplay's great. I'm a big Diamond Dynasty. I'm as average as it gets. I'm either really really good or I can't hit the broadside of a barn. But um, I think this year if they can figure out the content and build upon the content for offline modes as well, which is a lot of people play because not a lot of people have a lot of time to dedicate Diamond Dynasty. I get it; it's your money maker. I understand. But as long as you add the things that people are looking for, and they do a pretty good job of listing the player in season, which is great because they make those adjustments seasons and so forth. I think MLB The Show could be in a really, and also I think that they need to stop making damn game for gen models
Oh,
because
that's what I've been told is done.
I hope so because if they do that graphically, it should be a huge upgrade. Should be the upgrade should be massive because it's looked the same on the PS4 and every other
Yeah.
player on. It hasn't changed in like 8 or 9 years. So I mean, obviously you get your polishing and stuff like that, but like you see how Madden looks, you see how NBA 2K looks, it looks insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm really interested to see what it looks like this. Interested in what players they get in the this year. Maybe they get the Wagner.
That's a good segue because I forgot to bring that up. How do you feel about our three newly elected, well-deserved Hall of Famers?
Billy Wagner was long time overdue. I
Overdue.
think he's the greatest left-handed closer of all time. The fact that he hasn't is I think that's egregious. I think he should have been ballot hole. See Sabathia, now I got another name that's all that you got me. That's cool. But I think I've always liked watching Sabathia play. He was in Milwaukee and Cleveland, New York. I see Sabathia. I've always loved watching him.
Right.
Ichiro was like that's generationally. You can argue he's top two, top three greatest hitters of all time. You get your Pete Rose and Ichiro's next, and then if you want to puzzle in Ichiro's hits in Japan, then Ichiro's got more hits than Pete Rose.
How do you
It's all about
feel
how you want to.
how do you feel that he did it? and the voters didn't give him a unanimous. He was one vote off, and that pissed me off. But I get the politics of it though.
I'm really tired of. I'm gonna go on a rant. I'm really tired of old, stuck in their ways people having the power over who makes it in the Hall of Fame. I'm really tired of that because like I think Ken Griffey. I don't think he was unanimous either.
No,
There aren't very many
There's only one. It's
Who's that?
Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. So, like you tell me Ken
Jeter
Griffey
didn't make
shouldn't
it.
have been
Yeah,
unanimous. Jeter shouldn't be unanimous. Randy Johnson shouldn't have been unanimous. Like, be honest with each other. Like, who's the one guy that wants to ruin their credibility for not like?
it's a
Like,
not.
I don't think it's for
It's anonymous
what?
too. Like by
Yeah,
law, they
is
can't
it
even show you.
personal feelings or something? I'm just tired of people letting their personal feelings away of who made it in the Hall of Fame. Granted, it's also unfortunate Alex Rodriguez is. I get why he's not. I'm not an idiot. It you know I haven't lost that. But like if you're gonna monetize off these, why aren't you gonna why not vote him in?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I've been telling you since the day I met you. You can't tell the story of baseball without that player. If you can't tell it without him, that tells you how important the game the world.
yeah,
Plain and simple. You know what I mean?
right.
Like steroids or not, just let them in.
And there's no way
Like
Barry Bonds
Randy
can get in now,
Johnson
right?
and Mark McGwire single-handedly kept baseball from going into the casket in the '90s, the
Yeah,
summer '98. You know what I
my
mean?
favorite baseball summer, bro.
Yes, summer '98 kept baseball from going in the casket,
Yeah, so
and I'm just tired of people who are stuck in their ways and having all the power.
yeah, it's time. It's time for new voters to come in and exempt these old heads out of here because like Barry Bonds is never gonna get in, correct? He's done. His eligibility is done, right?
Insane, which is
He
insane. I get it. I get it. He did steroids and he was a jerk. So what? like, so what?
has nothing to do with baseball.
If you can let people like Ty Cobb in there, you can let people like Barry Bonds.
Right. It
Bro,
is
you
what it
got
is,
people who
man.
are generationally racist and just generally bad people
In the
who
hall.
are in the Hall of Fame. You know,
And shit.
I don't like it, and I always hate the old generational. You know,
And they gots to go. They gots to go, man.
yeah, like I don't know. I think something's got to change, and I think like what's crazy is like you're only letting like 3 to 4 people into the hall a year.
Which is
Also, Andrew Jones
which
is
is
in the hall.
crazy. Which is crazy.
Also, Andrew Jones is in the hall. So that's like whoever said that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame should go to jail.
Facts. That's my favorite center fielder of all time. That's my guy,
So
man.
I think next year I think is probably as best of a bet for Andrew because there is nobody worth a Hall of Fame vote coming up for the first
For
ballot.
first ballot, yeah, it's very slim. Very slim.
Maybe second, third, and fourth ballot. I don't think any of those guys are. I wouldn't vote any of them in. And Hunter Pence is in that group. I wouldn't.
Shout out to Hunter Pence. All right, man.
I love Hunter
Listen,
Pence. So
it's been fun, bro. As I start my morning, and it's crazy. It's Friday over there, huh?
yeah, Friday night.
My boys,
Tomorrow
it's
morning.
Friday right now, and it's Saturday over here. That's how crazy it is right now. But
Yeah, but it's a school night for me. I gotta work in the morning. I
hey,
gotta wake up 3 a.m.
so you enjoy that, man. Listen, I'm glad
Oh,
this is the start of the podcast coming back. Mario, it's always a pleasure, bro. We're gonna start talking. We're gonna get into our drafts again. We're gonna start talking all the other stuff that we do: NFL, wrestling, you name it. The podcast is back, full in effect. About to get the boys ready for it. I finally fixed my computer, finally. So, hey,
training's right around the corner, bro.
listen. As long as I wake up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and have to, wake up and get ready, I'll be down to do these podcasts. So, My boy, like I said, like, comment, subscribe to the Sunflex podcast. This is Adios Pelota. My boy Mario. You take care, dog.
Yep. Later.
Holler,